First of all, I don't want to hear myself in. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. See if we are live. Okay. Making sure all systems. I have no production team, so I have to do this myself. All right. Looks like we are live. Okay. Take these off. I'm gonna watch. Hey, if there's a bit of a delay, everybody, I do apologize. I am working around the clock to try to figure out a low, kind of like a low latency, low delay way to do this. With streaming, I understand that there's gonna be a little bit of a lag, but I don't respect anything that's over. Let me turn my mic up. I don't respect anything that's over like 30 seconds. That's just too long. I've been said a lot in that time, but if everything is cool, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Tonight is gonna be short, so I'm gonna prep myself up because I am definitely excited. I just wanted to make sure this live stream, I hit the mic, I know that's loud. And I also wanted to make sure I didn't distort because I listened back to the last episode and I was kind of like distorting, and I don't like that. So here we go. Tonight's episode, guys, I found a groundbreaking way to kind of like budget money, right? So when we think about budgeting, right, we think about, how boring it is and how sort of adult it is. And just basically it's almost like punishing ourselves, right? So tonight I want to, it's always been in my best, like, it's always been kind of like my go-to thing to do to like make things as simple as possible. I'm natural like that. I'm naturally lazy, so I'm always looking for ways to do things effectively, efficiently, and in the shortest amount and easiest way possible. With that said, I have found a way to budget. Now, I am going to say I cannot take all the credit for this. It's actually a strategy from my personal mentor. His name is Tommy Bryson. He is on YouTube. He's like my go-to guy when it comes to learning about finance and all kind of financial strategies and all of that things. And then I just kind of take those and kind of use it in my own life and then tell you guys how it worked for me. So like I said, in traditional budgeting, we kind of like figure out everybody that we got to pay, right? And we got to pay, we think about every bill, we think about every obligation, we think about debt. Then what we do is we either cut, forget, or just like plain ignore the things that we're going to buy eventually, right? So and that's the reason why a lot of people make budgets and don't stick to it, and a lot of the reason why some people think that budgets aren't as effective, and that's okay. I want to tell you guys that I keep stressing this, you don't make money to pay bills. You make money to enjoy the quality of life. So whatever it is that you like and that you love to do, I believe that you should make money to do said things, right? So, but the problem is when we go to budget, we cut those things out or we just kind of forget about it. So this budget kind of like gives us a set list of everything that we need to take care of, and once those things are taken care of, you know we can then have fun with our money. So but there's a kind of like a set thing that you need to do. So I'm all over the place because like I said, I'm so excited about this. So and when it comes to budgeting also, we always like write down our categories, and we write down like everything at once, and it can get confusing and it can be complex, and it's just, you know, after a while you don't stick to it. But tonight I want to give you guys a budget that only involves 6 categories. And if I'm doing that right, 6 categories. I don't know if you guys see that in the camera, but 6 categories that you need to worry about um and what you need to put your money into and how much you're going to allocate towards it. Okay, so number one, you want to be putting your money in yourself. Okay, the first thing that you should do before you pay any bill, before you give anybody any amount of your money that you worked hard for, you should get into the habit of saying, "Hey, hey, I, Isaiah, worked hard for this money. I at least deserve some of this money," right? And the book of The Richest Man in Babylon, he talks about this. I think it's one of the first things. I believe it is one of the first things that he talks about. It's like, hey, a part of what I own is mine to keep. You get what I'm saying? So definitely you want to be paying yourself first. I know you guys hear that a lot. It's kind of like one of those cliche things that financial advisors talk about, but it is talked about for a reason. Okay, it's not the sexiest thing, but once you get into it, it can be sexy. I love paying myself first. I pay myself up to half my money now, and I live off of the rest. Sometimes I go as far as 75% and I live off of 25%. And that's another thing. We're going to start using percentages, right? Because I want you to look at your money as a pie chart. Okay, you want to be allocating 100% of your money. So this is what these 6 categories are going to be based off of: allocating 100% of your money. That way you leave no stone unhinged, unturned, whatever the saying is. You don't leave any money on the table. Every dollar is going to have a job, whether it's to take care of you or take care of other things or to have fun. Regardless, every dollar is going to have a job. You're going to have no money to mess up, right? And I believe this is the easiest way. So number one, like I said, is yourself. But how much should you be paying yourself? In this 100% equation, I want you to pay yourself 10% of at least of what you make, okay? Or the equivalent to 1 hour of each day of what you when you work. So if you work an 8-hour shift, right? 1 hour of that needs to go into uh uh going into yourself. 1/8 of your paycheck. Okay? So um excuse me, I'm sorry. So what does that look like? Paying yourself, right? So you want to pay yourself by putting it into an emergency fund, kind of like margin investing, which basically is like saving up for a rainy day. If God forbid you get laid off your job, or you get sick. Like I said, God forbid, I don't want any of these things to happen to you. Car breaks down, you have a margin for at least the next month or so, you know, and if possible the next 3 to 6 months. You can live. You don't have to worry about things for the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, so paying yourself also looks like investing in your future, not worrying about you today, which I'm all for paying for you today, like enjoying yourself, but we'll get there. But you also have to be worrying about future you. Okay, when you look 10 years, 20 years from now, where are you going to be? Are you going to still be worried about money, or are you going to be in a position to where retirement is looking great? Okay, or even if you don't plan to retire within the next 20 years, are you on the right track, or are you going to have to play a game of catch up? So, and believe it or not, 10 to 20 years is not that far down the road. Okay, we are under this illusion that time is time is just kind of like we got all the time in the world, and it's like, no. Like, I looked up and I'm like, dang, I've been working for 10 years. I'm 25. I've grown up wanting to be 25, and an adult, and well, look at here, I'm an adult and I got to figure it out. So you want to be investing in your future self. That looks like 401ks, Roth IRAs, stocks and bonds, whatever you need to do to invest in yourself. So with that said, number 2 is going to be investments. Okay, these are going to be things that are going to make you money. Okay, these are going to be things that allow you to make more money. So how much should you be allocating for that? I would say 10%. So right now you're looking about 20% of your money going into just you. Okay. And I know you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But I'll talk about how you can adjust this, if this doesn't seem feasible. So we got things that'll make you money. 10%. This could be your business, like I said, stocks and bonds, your IRA, whatever it is that you feel like will make you more money. But don't invest in things that you don't know. I always say, if you don't know where to invest your money, the first thing you should invest in is your education. Okay, so don't listen to everybody. Everybody's not going to have your best interest. No one can time the market. So the best investment strategies aren't sexy. So don't follow advice. Always look to educate yourself so that you can make an educated decision, okay, based off of past history. All right, so number 3 is debt. So right now we got 1, paying yourself, 2, investments, 3, paying off debt. Okay, so and the reason why I say paying off debt before you pay your expenses is because you must get rid of debt. I kid you not, guys. I want to do a video of the 3 things that are killing your wealth, and debt, believe it or not, is one of them. You probably feel it now. You make money, you're anxious. Who's gonna take my money from me? Okay, I want you to be proactive about paying off debt. I'm not talking about paying no minimums. I'm not talking about, maxing your credit card and paying off the minimum, or, paying things 15 months down the road and you done racked up all this interest. No, I'm talking about getting on top of this debt and attacking it with a gazelle-like intensity. You ever seen a gazelle run away from what's trying to eat it? It is trying to run like the wind. Okay, so I want you to get on top of your debt. You must get rid of this in order to grow. You cannot do anything else. You cannot do anything else if this is in the way, because it doesn't make sense to have $1,000,000. It doesn't make sense to have $1,000,000 portfolio and have to owe $1,001. Okay, you're -1. You're poor. Okay, you get what I'm saying? I hope this is getting to you guys. Believe me, I am definitely on top of my debt. Okay, we done got the revolving debt out of the way. Now it's time to attack the kind of like all debt, so I won't have that over my shoulders anymore. All right, so how much should go to this? Okay, if we're looking at the 100% chart, 20% of your 20% of your money should be going towards debt. All right, now, like I said, we're going to talk about this later on, but 20% of your money going towards debt. All right, number 4 is expenses. Yes, you know how to do this. You know how to pay bills. You know how to pay for utilities. You know how to pay for your internet. So this goes without saying. Once you get those top 3 things taken care of, paying yourself, investing, and paying some of your debt down with every check that you get, now it's time to pay for your expenses. Okay? Now, how much should go towards your expenses? Because you have people that pay a lot in bills and wondering why it's hard for them to catch up. You're paying a lot of the times, a lot of the things that you're worried about, you don't have to worry about. Okay, you can always negotiate, you can always cut, you can always reduce, and you can always eliminate. A lot of the stuff you're paying for, 9 times out of 10 really doesn't matter. If it's not your house, your car, your clothing, if it, it really doesn't matter. Or if it does matter, you can always find ways to reduce it. Okay, so I would suggest 50%. Okay, 50%. If you're seeing yourself, if you do an evaluation and you see that you're 75% paying into expenses, that's part of your problem. Okay, you're a lot of us get a house that we can't afford. Okay, because we think that it's a nice house. I make enough money, blah blah blah. But if your house is more than 30% of your monthly income, right? If your house is more than 30% of your income, then you're paying too much. You're what's known as house broke. And that basically means that all of your money is potentially going into your house, even if you can afford it. Something happens, it's almost the end of the world. Okay, so I want you to keep this below 50%. Every expense, when you total it up, should cost no more than 50% of your monthly income by the end of the month. All right, now you didn't heard me talk about the boring stuff. Okay, now I want you to take care of yourself. So number 5 is to have fun. Okay, allocate money towards having fun, whether you like to go out, whether you like to eat out, whether you like to spend money going to art parks, and I don't know, you like to go crazy, with your money. Have fun. Okay, take care of the top 4 things. That's yourself, that's investments, that's debt, and paying your expenses. Now you can enjoy your money. But I want you to be moderate with this. You still have to have some sort of control. I want you to spend about 5% of your money towards having fun. Okay? Now, if you get to a point where you've paid off your debt, you've invested, got a really nice portfolio, and you've put money back for your retirement or, for future you, then by all means, don't listen to what I say. Have fun, go crazy, right? But if these things aren't in order, you're going to have to put fun kind of like to a minimum, okay? And that minimum is 5%, all right? Now, the last thing I want you to do is, and this is the 6th thing, I want you to give charity, okay? You should always want to give to the less fortunate, okay? And it's kind of like a great thing to do, okay? It's just a good thing to do, and you're more susceptible to receiving more blessings, okay? Not saying that you should give to get more, but giving out of the kindness of your heart to those that are less fortunate to you, and understand, comes from a place of understanding that this can happen to anyone, and it has happened to me. That's why I am so adamant about giving when I can. Okay, now, like I said, that's giving when you can, but this should be about 1 to 5%. Okay, 1 to 5%, trust me, is not going to hurt your pockets. It's not going to do anything drastic to your money. Okay, giving $5 or $10 to a donation to a charity, or giving it to someone that's in need, truly in need, I should say, is not going to hurt your pockets. And I know you guys hear me talk about, hey, you might say, hey, Izzy, you talk about saying no all the time, and you talk about helping people when you can. Yes, this is one of those times. Once you've taken care of yourself, then you should be saying, hey, I want to be a blessing, or I want to be an asset in people's life. That's just me, but I always encourage those around me to give whenever possible. Okay? Now, you hear all of this and you might be saying, but what if my debt or my bills are too high? And here's kind of like a quick thing that I want you to do. I want you to write down all of your debts, right? From smallest to largest. Write down all of your bills as well, okay? Then here's what you're going to do. You're going to save $1,000 as fast as you can, as quick as you can. It is imperative that I say this, okay? It is imperative that you do this, all right? Save this fast in an emergency fund. And this is going to be a cushion for when Cousin Murphy comes in and decides that he wants to wreck, I was almost, said something crazy, but, he wants to wreck shop in your life. You're prepared for Cousin Murphy, all right? But you're doing it with the intention of, I'm about to change my life. And I promise you guys, this is something that I've done, and it has changed my life drastically, okay? Now, with that said, your percentages will need to look a little bit different once you save up your $1,000, okay, you want to put 1% into yourself at this point, right? Because now, and I'll tell you why once we get down, but 1% is going into yourself. That's just to keep the habit going. That's just to keep it going. You don't want to stop doing this. 1% also into investments. Again, this is just to keep that habit going, just to build that habit, make it automatic, okay? Now we're going to put 42% of our money into debts, okay? And like I said, we're attacking it. Gazelle-like intensity. If it's stressing you out, if you think it's too high, yes, get rid of it. Excuse me. Get rid of it, okay? Get rid of it as fast as you can. I found the optimal percentage, or the I said that right. The optimal percentage is 42% towards debt. Now, what about your expenses, your bills? Now you can adjust for about 54%. I'm still not letting up on that. All right. I'm still not letting you spend more than 60% towards your expenses. 54%. 42% for debt, 54% for expenses. 1% now, you have to do it for fun. I'm sorry, you got to put fun away for a while, even if it's for a couple of months, okay? This is the thing about being an adult, is it's understanding that, you know, in order to get where you want in life, you have to give up something, okay? In order to get what you want, you have to be willing to give up something, okay? And that might be fun, but understand that it's only for a small amount of time. And once you're able to fully have fun, you're going to have fun like nobody's business, okay? Everybody else is going to have fun and trying to play catch up and, you know, struggling and things like that, but you're not going to be that person. You're going to be the person that have made the sacrifice early on in life and can now uh harvest the benefits of the sacrifices, okay? But I also still want you to give to charity. 1% now, okay? All of this equals up to 100%, okay? But I want you to understand, please, whatever percentages work for you, because you need to adjust this according to your lifestyle. You know, this is not a set it and forget it. It will be according to what you got going on. And I don't know what you got going on. So, but the idea is I want you to zero out your money. I don't want you to leave room for any extra money, okay? And if you need help trying to figure out how to zero out your money, I want you to check out Dave Ramsey's Every Dollar Budget. Okay, it's a very, very almost crazy. It's almost crazy how simple this budgeting site is. You literally go to everydollar.com, you sign up, you input how much money you're gonna make for the next month or so, and you just input. He has all the categories lined up for you, so wherever it fits you, you just put it in, and it's going to tell you how much you got left and how much how much you got left to spend. And the idea is to get that to zero, okay? Get it to zero. That's going to be an every dollar budget, all right? Don't leave any money on the table. Okay, whether it's in investing or paying your bills or paying for your future self, I want it to be zeroed out. All right. Now, if you're in need of a little bit more help, please allow me to offer my financial coaching services. I do teach a little bit more. I go a little bit more in depth with your personal finances, if you allow me. And if that's something you want to do, something you want to try out, I am offering a beta service. You get your first 4 weeks free, but I'm only accepting a few people. So if that's something you want to do, we can set up a discovery call, and that'll be at the website financialcoachizzy.com / no, it's just financialcoachizzy.com. So go to financialcoachizzy.com, book a free discovery call. I'm going to get on Zoom with you. We're going to discuss some things for about 15 minutes, and then we can decide whether or not we'd work together or we'd work well together in helping you in your finances, which I'm positive if you come to me and ask for my help, I would love to help you. Okay. But the issue is I can only help so many people at a time effectively. So you might want to sign up as soon as possible. Okay. I have been working with a few clients and I've seen nothing but great results from the people that I've been working with. So the reason why I moved to Facebook is because I want to help my friends and help my family uh before I get out to the world. Okay. If and you know This is more than money, it's more about giving people a chance. Okay. If this was a money thing, I would definitely be paying for advertisements, and I would definitely you know be branching out to other things. But I want to help my friends and family, you know in a way that changed my life. If and I know if it changed my life, it can definitely change your life. So please, I implore you to sign up, financialcoachizzy.com. Book a free discovery call. At least go through with the discovery call, and we can go from there. But I promise you, the things that I know and the things that I can teach you um, is well beyond what you would learn on the internet. And I don't just be saying stuff, okay? I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't need to know. All right. So with that said, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Next week is going to be amazing. All right. So next week around this time, we're going to go live at 7. This video will be reposted on my YouTube channel. Check out my YouTube channel as well. It is Frugal Freedom. But this recap will be posted there as well. But I said this wasn't going to be a long video, but I kind of see, like, when I'm passionate about what I teach, it kind of drags on. But I am working on that. Okay, I am working on that. Because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, right? Like right now, we're working on an episode, But if I could change your life, I would definitely be looking to. So, with that said, I'll see you guys next Thursday. We go live at 7 p.m. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you tell everybody that you know. And let's keep this going, okay? Episode 7 next week. Until next time, have a great night. Love you guys. Peace.